Thank you for coming to our brief YouTube video on reading comprehension, or reading to understand. Reading comprehension is gaining a deeper understanding of a work through reading a text, exploring its message, and developing our own knowledge of the work. There are a couple of steps to take to create a good chance at reading comprehension. First is to set up a good reading environment. Second is to pick a good time of day to read. Third is to set goals for your reading time. The fourth is to connect with your text. And the fifth is to stay focused. So first, setting up a good reading environment. You should remove all distractions, turning your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb. You should choose a comfortable but not too comfortable place to read so that you don't fall asleep. You should declutter your area, removing trash and other work that you might have been working on earlier. And you should have your reading tools ready, so things like Post-it notes, highlighters, pens, or your tablet charged and ready to go. You should pick a good time of day to read. Checking in with yourself and your schedule is a must. Finding out if your favorite show is about to be on, or if there's a time that you usually talk to your significant other or family, or if you're about to fall asleep, or if you're just waking up. You should also determine whether or not your roommate is about to come home and make noise or distract you. The best thing you can do is determine what time of day you're most productive and use that to your advantage. This plan will help you retain what you've read instead of just reading to get it checked off your list. In that same vein, it's important to make sure you're absorbing what you read. If you're not, you need to switch to a new reading time. You should set goals for your reading time, which is step 3. Using a timer or an app like Forest can be really helpful. A Pomodoro timer sets things up into 25-minute time blocks, and that can be really helpful too. Determine a wise amount to read in a given time. Don't try to cram just to get it done. Start off small and progress to longer passages. And in worst case scenario, if you are in a crunch for time, don't try to read everything in a rush. You'll end up not retaining anything. Instead, if you're crunched for time, it's better to read looking for keywords and ideas. Check for words and ideas that are repeated, summary sections, words as in phrases in bold, underlined, or italicized, quotations that seem important, especially in moments of dialogue between characters, and graphics or tables that seem important. You should make sure to read their descriptions too. Step 4 is to connect with your text. You should choose your mode of reading. Do you have screen burnout, for example, so you need to change to a print version? You should read any prompts your professor has given to you. Maybe they've asked you a question about the reading to which you have to respond. You should ask yourself, what is the big picture or message of what I've read? And you can take notes to keep connected. One thing that I like to do is color code and use Post-it notes for my annotations. That helps me a lot. And now they make clear Post-it notes so you can actually highlight over text without ruining the book itself if you're renting it or if it's a library book. You should also try to come up with specific examples to remember lessons, maybe creating your own to test your knowledge base. Step 5 is to stay focused. Don't try to switch between reading and writing out your answer. Read first and then respond to whatever your professor has asked. Take breaks between reading so that you can let the ideas sink in. Use your professor's office hours if you feel stuck and don't understand something. You should listen to a recording if you can't focus on reading it, and you can use a bookmark to follow along. My last advice is don't read too far ahead. It will limit your ability to understand what you were assigned to read, and you might accidentally spoil things for others in class or unnecessarily confuse them. We have a couple pieces of additional advice to further your comprehension. First, giving yourselves breaks between reading to let the material sink in. We already said it, but it's so important we want to say it again, making sure you really understand that it's better to give yourself time rather than try to read in a crunch. Reward yourself when you complete a reading task. Take time off to watch a show, to talk to a friend, to respond to some texts, whatever you need. You should also try paraphrasing or summarizing what you've read in your own words to test how well you've understood it. And if a concept confuses you, you can always look up what others have written about it. We recommend, whenever possible, using peer-reviewed and trusted sources so that you're not confusing yourself further. Our tutors are always here to help with reading comprehension. We're located on the 2nd floor of Chalmers Library, and we also offer online appointments. Thanks for listening. If you'd like a copy of the slides used in this presentation, please email me, Professor Scanlon, at scanlon1@kenyon.edu.